Okay, so now we'll start the actual novel, Untouchable, by Mulk Raj Anand, right? So you see, what you have here is very, subtle and sensitive pen portrait of these untouchables. Untouchables are outcasts, outcasts means they're thrown out of society. Okay, they're not supposed to live within the city, they're supposed to live outside the city. They are very sensitive, subtle pen portrait of these people who are on the fringes of society, who are ignored by society, right? So Untouchable by Mulk Raj Anand. The outcast colony was a group of mud-walled houses that clustered together in two rows under the shadow both of the town and the cantonment, but outside their boundaries and separate from them. Right? So you have the town, the actual town. We are not told the name of the town, but there's a town. Outside that town there is a cantonment. Cantonment is the place where the British soldiers used to be housed. Even in Bangalore you have a cantonment area. That cantonment actually means where the British soldiers were stationed. That was outside the town. But this outcast colony, okay, it was out beyond both the town and the cantonment, right? So the outcast colony was a group of mud-walled houses. Mud-walled. They're not pakka construction. You know what pakka construction means? Concrete, brick, mortar, right? It's not it is a kacha construction, right? So kacha means that, mud walls, some stones held together by mud. The outcast colony was a group of mud-walled houses that clustered in two rows. There were two rows, one row, second row, right? Which was outside the boundaries of the town and cantonment and separate from them, right? So there lived the scavengers, the leather workers, the washermen, the barbers, the water carriers, the grass cutters, and other outcasts from Hindu society, right? There lived the scavengers. Scavengers are, people who, even now you see the scavengers. Wherever there's any heap of garbage, they go and pick up the plastic bottle, the plastic covers, and they put them in the bag on the back, and they sell them, right? You have scavengers like that. Also, scavenging also refers to the cleaning of the toilets. When the novel was written, in India there was no flush system. Flush system was not there. So what you had to do was to empty the pit of the excrement, which you did in the morning from the houses. You have to remove it manually. They had to dig it out, put it in a basket, carry it on their head. Okay. So that was manual scavenging. Okay. There lived the scavengers, the leather workers. Leather, you know what leather is? Leather is nothing but the skin of an animal. Now, how do you get the skin of an animal? First you have to sort of cut its head, sever its head, and then you have to separate the skin from the body, which leaves a lot of flesh, exposed, right? So there were the leather workers, the washermen, the barbers, the water carriers, the grass cutters, and other outcasts from Hindu society. Outcasts, as I said, they're cast or thrown out of society, right? Because of the nature of their work, right? So they're called untouchable. Untouchables because if you touch them, you may become impure, right? So they may. Okay. Anyway, the grass cutters and other outcasts from Hindu society. A brook ran near the lane, once with crystal clear water, now soiled by the dirt and filth of the public latrines situated about it. the odor of the hides and skins of dead carcasses left to dry on its bank, the dung of donkeys, sheep, horses, cows and buffaloes, heaped up to be made into fuel cakes. Right? So near the 2 rows of houses, there was a lake. A brook runs near the lake. A brook is a small stream, right? Now, once upon a time, this brook, this small stream had crystal clear water. You could drink from it. But now what has happened? Now it is soiled. Soiled means made dirty by the dirt and filth of the public latrines situated about it. Public latrines. So they empty into the brook or the river. Just like outside Bangalore, you have that. Just empties, right? So the public latrine situated about it, the odor of the hides and skins of the dead carcasses left to dry on its bank. Hides are the thick skins of the buffaloes, the cows, the oxen, right? Hides are the skins which have been separated, right? The hides and skins of dead carcasses. That is, they just sever the head of the buffalo, remove the skin, and throw the dead carcass onto the bank of that brook. So it's now stinking, right? The dung of donkeys, sheep, horses, cows and buffaloes heaped up to be made into fuel cake. So all these cattle, sheep, donkeys, buffaloes, the dung, they had been heaped up. So they would take that dung and they would sort of pat it into little cakes, dry it, and then be used as fuel. So all this, all these activities were going on, and as a result, the water of that brook had become filthy, right? So the absence of drainage had, through the rains of various seasons, made of the quarter of a marsh, which gave out the most offensive smells. So there was no drainage. You need proper drainage so that all the dirty water is taken away, right? Many cities in the West have it. Paris, it's built on the banks of the river Seine. London is built on the, banks on both sides of the river Thames. But you don't see the sewage of London or the sewage of Paris emptying into the rivers. It needs a proper drainage, right? So, you see, now what happens, the absence of drainage here, right? You see, what the authors described in 1930, 1940, even today the situation is the same. Because if you look outside this city, the Rishibhavati, it's the same. It's the same. See, when you say a story, it's not necessarily a work of fiction, not necessarily a work of the imagination. It is based on real life, sketches from real life. Okay? It's based on sketches from real, what you find in society. It's not exactly, you see, it's not made up, right? It's not made up at all, right? So here you have, see what causes this. So we can learn how to clean that river. How do you clean it? Drainage, proper drainage. See, the absence of drainage had, through the rains of various seasons. So through the rains, through the monsoon season, what had been made of the water a marsh. It had become a marsh. Marsh means the water is flowing once. Now it is stagnant, it is still, and the dirt, the filth has accumulated. So grass is growing on the banks of that brook, right? And if you step into it, you'll sink in it up to your ankles or up to your calf muscles, right? So it's soggy ground, right? So what do we learn? We need that, we need drainage, proper drainage to make that river, You can at least look at it. When you see a river, it should be blue-colored water, not necessarily black, right? So you see, it is made of that quarter. Quarter means that area of Mars, which gave out the most offensive smell. See, not only that any stormwater drain, any open flowing water, that's how it is, right? So proper drainage is necessary, right? Okay. And altogether the ramparts of human and animal refuse that lay on the outskirts of this little colony, and ugliness, the squalor and the misery which lay within it, made it an uncongenial place to live in, right? So here, see, altogether, here the author sums up what he sees in that outcast colony, page 9, right? Or it sums up what he sees in the outcast colony. Altogether, the ramparts is if you see it from a height, what do you see? Altogether, the ramparts of human and animal refuse. Human refuse, that is the public latrines, human excrement, and animal refuse, the carcasses of the dead animals that lay on the outskirts of this little colony, and the ugliness. Ugliness is haphazard, building, right? Haphazard throwing about of garbage, right? So you need a proper waste disposal, you need proper drainage, right? That's what we learn. That lay on the outskirts of this little colony, and the ugliness. And if you look at it, it's not a pretty sight. Okay, the squalor is absolute filth. They're living in absolute filth, right? Squalor and misery which lay within it made it an uncongenial place to live in. See, that word uncongenial is put in a single inverted comma. Why? Because this is what is called a euphemism. Euphemism is you describe something really bad. You use good words to describe it. You use positive words to describe it. Right? That is a euphemism. So what we see here is absolute squalor, is absolute filth, is absolute degrading. No humans should live like that. Right? So the word used to describe that is uncongenial. Congenial is whatever is harmonious, whatever is good. Right? So that word is a euphemism. Right? Uncongenial place to live in. Okay. So you see, at least you must live in, surroundings which are, which you can look at, which are clean, which are tidy. Cleanliness, tidiness, isn't it? The first basic necessity, right? At least, so called baka.